Good morning. How did you get on Friday? Well, no green screens for me yesterday. Day off for me. But let's take a look through. Particularly interesting Eredivisie yesterday as well. You know it's a goals league. Well, I wonder what happened. Let's have a look. It's always a good exercise to look at yesterday's football if you haven't traded and ask what you might have done and whether the odds-on favourites were delivering. I told you yesterday about Shanghai Port. Shanghai Shenhua tend to be solid sides for picking out a late winner if in a spot of bother. Certainly the case with Shanghai Port there. And we start seeing the Champions League cracks appear yesterday. FC Copenhagen losing 3-1 as odds-on favourites. Would I be getting involved? No. Because I know already Copenhagen will be fielding a weakened Champions League side. A weakened domestic side to their Champions League side. You can see all these substitutions here. This is a typical pre-Champions League performance, isn't it? That's why I keep banging on about it. Pre and post-Champions League, post-international break, pre-Champions League. The cracks are going to show, not just with Copenhagen yesterday, but with another Champions League bound side. So let's take a walk down. Middlesbrough and Ipswich, tough match to call. Really tough match to call yesterday. Arguable if it was 1-1 to that late draw. Here's another post-international pre-Champions League cock-up. Paris Saint-Germain at 1.36 favourite. Was there more of a trading element to this particular match? Did you keep faith in PSG? After all, they have bought the league, bought it many years ago. The team with the best budget and the best players. Were they in a spot of bother? Well, they're not resting any of the big guns with Barcola opening the scoring. How about that? 1-3 down, 49th minute. Now, you could arguably treat this as an underdog leading by 2 clear goals on or around half time. 49 minutes gives you a whole second half for PSG to get out of a spot of bother. And more importantly, it keeps your liability low in case this is a post-international pre-Champions League Paris Saint-Germain cock-up. But off we go. A Ramos penalty. And a 79th minute Mayulu 3-3. So arguably a good trade there at a low entry point. Exactly what you need with this unique weekend where you can't quite trust these Champions League sides to deliver. That's 2 out of 2 failing to win at very short odds on. You get the picture for this weekend, I take it. Well, these two, Union Berlin and Borussia Mönchengladbach, well, I wouldn't trust them. As far as I could throw them, these two. Let them squabble it out. You don't have to trade that one. And in the Irish Premier Division and First Division, very readable yesterday and tending to deliver. Shelburne, good win for them. St Pat's and Shamrock Rovers, a couple of derby-style matches yesterday. St Pat's and Shamrock could go either way. And Dundalk and Cove Ramblers, the top 2 in the First Division, going the way of the league leaders, Dundalk. Still, short odds, 1.6 for a 1-goal-in-it win. I wouldn't be entertaining 1.6 at all in a top 2 clash. And keep an eye out on Longford. They keep digging out those wins, even against the big boys. They've beaten the top 2 already this season, Longford, and very recently. Here come the goals, ladies and gentlemen. 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 4, 4, 6, 4. You get the idea with the Eredivisie. Where are you going to be going for your 2.5 goal trading? You go to leagues with that reputation. I hope we'll see them in the leagues list here, quite high up for the 2.5 goal stats. The Dutch Eerste Eredivisie. Should be hovering above the 90% mark. There it is. Oh, 61%. So, not really up in the upper echelons, is it? But 79% for over 1.5 goals and over delivering yesterday. So if you did play your 2.5 goals yesterday, you'd have been rewarded in that league. Poor old Real Oviedo, not given much of a shout this season. Newly promoted and looking like a newly promoted side. Another loss at home for them. Let's take a look on to today's trading angles with a return of all of the elite leagues, but a gentle reminder, post-international pre-Champions League has got 2 out of 2 victims already. So please do keep an eye out on Club Brugge today, Champions League bound. Union Singulwa today, Champions League bound. Don't bear any mind to the odds on. 2 out of 2 at similar and shorter odds yesterday, failing to deliver. And again, with that in mind, keep an eye out on Slavia Prague today, another short-priced favourite. But how are they going to balance domestic football and Champions League / Europa League football? In the Premier League today, we've got Chelsea away, Newcastle away, Manchester City at home, Arsenal away. Champions League bound, all 4 of these. 3 of them away from home. That's got banana skin written all over it today. There's going to be struggles, particularly I would suspect in the London derby. 1.48 looks very short price for a post-international pre-Champions League Arsenal. I would even encourage you today with these short price favourites, Manchester City and Arsenal, to lay them if they lead. Just for this unique weekend, they may go on and win easily. But in a unique weekend like this, they're going to be affected on both ends. And Everton are going to be frustrating the bleep out of City today. Nottingham Forest and Chelsea makes it even more difficult with that new manager element to Nottingham Forest, throwing in a little bit of unreadability. Brighton and Newcastle, well, we know the Champions League element there. 2.6 the favourite tells you to go in play stats. I've done research and I've done the XG for you. So it's available today. Burnley and Leeds is one of those newly promoted derby-style matches, yet another. This is a match where you wouldn't dismiss Burnley because it's a lowering of the sights for both teams this season. Crystal Palace, their only loss coming last match against Everton, and it was a very, very lucky Everton with a penalty and a clearance from a Palace defender hitting Jack Grealish. He knew nothing about it and ending up with the back of the net. Very, very lucky Everton win. Still maintain the fact Crystal Palace incredibly difficult to beat this season, but don't forget they are involved in the Europa League. Man City and Everton, as I say, this has banana skin written all over it. Likely to be frustrating the life out of Man City, this Everton side. Can they keep tabs on Erling Haaland, who has stepped up a gear this season? Sunderland and Wolves, it's 2 sides in woeful. Well, not so Sunderland, but Wolves in woeful form. But Wolves are on the improve with a couple of score draws recently. They've got a bit of fight in them now. Wolves look a bit more, bit better defensively, particularly in that last match against Brighton, but still up front. They did create enough chances to get the winner. It's all about converting it. You've got to rely overtly on Strand Larsen. He's not your 30-goal a season man, is he? And Arsenal, we know, all about pre-Champions League, post-international break and the London derby. 1.48, ridiculously short with all that in mind. Championship, lots of odds on favourites today. I've looked at a few of those for members. Some reports on the odds on favourites, which I'll deliver. And I'll let you have them as well in the AII a bit later on. Coventry, your usual suspects, scoring for fun. Sheffield United, very dodgy. at the moment under new management, not quite delivering. And Leicester City, can they take the 3 points against Pompey? Few odds on favourites in League 1 and League 2. The only real main focuses will be on the odds-ons in League 1, League 2 to start with. French League, the majority of the teams playing today are playing today because they're involved in the Champions League next week. So be careful. More odds-on favourites likely to go down. I would take Marseille out of that. Little more confident in them. They're on a really good run after beating Paris Saint-Germain 1-0. They're scoring for fun, and at home, the home fans will not let them lose. It's as simple as that. So the rest of the Champions League sides on shaky ground today, but I think Marseille at home will be very strong indeed. In the Bundesliga, not local derby, but derby, and post-international pre-Champions League for these two. Not a match I want to be getting involved in. Leipzig, not involved in the Europa League or the Champions League, apparently. Bayer Leverkusen away from home, pre-Champions League. So watch out for the slip up. Freiburg aren't playing today, but they're involved in the Europa League, probably playing tomorrow. Italian SerieA, derby-style match again. Quite a lot of them today. And I just won't simply research them at all. I just won't do it. Pointless, as my experience tells me. Again, Champions League for Inter, Champions League for Napoli, both away from home. So watch out for some banana skins from these two in Serie A today. And in the Dutch Eredivisie, PSV Eindhoven are involved in Europe. I think Utrecht are in Europe. Ajax are in Europe. Ajax and AZ is arguably another one of those derby-style matches today. So we've got all sorts of very strong odds-on favourites today. PSV odds-on against Go Ahead Eagles, who are involved in Europe as well. So this looks like a good assignment for PSV, with Go Ahead Eagles going to be very, very distracted by the Europa League endeavours. And the busyness continues with our lesser leagues today. And the SPL are the old firm out and about. Odds-on favourites have been pretty good in the SPL. We've got 3 of them at home. Rangers against Dundee United, Motherwell and Hibs. And I do like Hearts. Whenever Hearts are odds-on, they do tend to deliver. Spanish La Liga, pre-Champions League Barcelona. Well, you've got a rarity with Lewandowski missing a penalty to have made it 2-2 against Sevilla. That was your typical pre-Champions League cock-up 1-4 loss. No, that was pre-international break cock-up. Now we've got post-international pre-Champions League to think about for Barca and for Villarreal and for Atletico Madrid. All involved in Europe, all at home today, all odds on. Totally ignore those odds. You've already seen them dropping down like flies from yesterday. Malmo involved in Europe and odds on as well. That's it really for today. Let's have a look at 1 or 2 XG reports. It's such a unique weekend. I'm not sure how useful expected goals analysis is going to be. You saw that 3-3 PSG yesterday. Very rarely do they concede 3 goals. So if there's going to be a spoiling of the form lines, it's going to be in these post-international pre-Champions League, Europa League weekends like this. But let's have a look at some XG reports. So here's a report with proper stats in it. It is an app. It does take information freely available off the internet, which is ensures it's free. So we missed out on the Koln match earlier on, but Leipzig and Hamburg, you'd expect to see Leipzig with a very positive expected goals for, edging towards 2 goals a game. Now, if their opponents, Hamburg, are newly promoted, are edging towards 2 goals a game given to the opponents, they're in a spot of bother today, aren't they? Particularly with their expected goals for of 1.07. They're going to be, if this is accurate, going to be outscored. Likely to score 2 goals today, unlikely to score that second goal. But Leipzig, defensively, are giving sides enough chances. So this could be a fascinating match today. Likely, Leipzig are going to do a number over the newly promoted side. Mainz and Leverkusen. Well, looking at Mainz, they're struggling to get that second goal chance or create enough chances for that second goal. But they are keeping things tight enough at the back so far. But they're going to be tested today. That is an extremely solid expected goals for Bayer Leverkusen. Creating enough chances for 2 goals a game or even more. And they're just starting to click defensively. It's not a good sign for Mainz this today, but this is pre-Champions League Bayer Leverkusen. Are these form lines going to continue? It's a good opportunity for them to score 2+ goals at their best. But it's a stubborn Mainz defence. But this is near the top of the tree for expected goals for. 2 a game. Well, if at first you can't succeed, try and try again. I knew the data was out there. FC Koln, newly promoted. This is their problem in defence, isn't it? Giving it sides. You just saw Bayer Leverkusen's 2 goal a game, expected goals for. Look at this expected goals against, 1.91. It's up there, isn't it? And you're in a spot of bother. Both of these 2 sides are in a spot of bother when their expected goals against is over 2. That's not a good sign. I'll get me coat, as the defensive coaches would say today. So do watch out for these 2. Could be well matched. Could see both teams to score element here, but the problem is in attack they're both a little woeful. But Koln tend to see 2-2s, I would say, looking at this and not looking at the seasonal form. So again, going to give Augsburg a chance, but defensively these sides are in a whole heap of bother. Just remember the post-international pre-Champions League element to these 2. So ordinarily, well, you thought Bayer Leverkusen was good. How about this for expected goals for? 3.16. We saw the likes with Norway during the international break. And they were scoring 2 or 3 goals before half-time. So maybe that's a pre-half-time angle, isn't it? Expected goals for, above 2, above 3. Start looking at the half-time market. Look at that defence for both teams. Remember, anything under 1 is good defensively. Anything under 1 is bad offensively. They're both pretty decent defensively. So this could be a very well thought out, tight match. And indeed, it's not a match I would trade personally. It's a derby style match, post-international pre-Champions League for both of these 2. There's going to be a shuffling of the pack, but that cannot be ignored. 3.16 a game. They're likely to score a goal at least, Bayern Munich today. That's what Dortmund gives their opponents, but this is even better than Arsenal, 0.58 expected goals against. So do ensure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel today at FootballTradingProfits. Going to do a live stream at 2:30 and maybe dip into a bit of the horse racing. I've been having some success with the horse racing trading. Busy Saturday. Please remember, if you're going to take anything out of this video, post-international pre-Champions League, it's taken 2 victims already at very short odds. There's going to be some more today. So if you're ever going to enter the match involving these pre-Champions League sides, make sure that you get a low liability entry. Have a great day. I will see members at 2:30 and yourselves on YouTube. And expect the AII a bit later on, which will have a lot of free reports and free expected goals reports for you.